the most confusing effects of trauma is you can be completely safe. Your environment can be safe, right? There's absolutely no threats. Nothing is happening. Nothing is wrong. Yet your body says otherwise because it's still acting as if there is a threat in the environment, in which case then you're going to feel anxious, on edge, unsettled, or like you cannot relax. And it doesn't make sense because logically you're fine, but internally you're not. And there is a thinking problem element here, right? There's an unconscious thought problem to a degree, but really it's a nervous system perception problem because your body is not responding to what is actually happening in the environment. It is responding to what it has learned to expect. Conditioning your nervous system is very, very real. And when you've lived in trauma, our nervous system does get conditioned and it creates these unconscious patterns that we live through until we take control. And if you want help on healing your trauma and you want a step-by-step course to help you heal your mind and heal your nervous system, really rewire that nervous system, then grab my course, Healing Trauma the Jesus Way. It's over 9 modules. The transcript's over 400 pages. And I don't say that to overwhelm you. I say that because it's extremely thorough and it is very action-oriented and it's not vague at all. We really go into the weeds and I tell you exactly what to do to heal your trauma. It's everything that I have done and more. I encourage you to get that. The link will be in the show notes below. But this is what's actually happening in your brain. After trauma, your system becomes biased towards detecting threat. And 3 systems, really 4 systems are involved. The amygdala, threat detection, your limbic system, the hippocampus, and your prefrontal cortex. But this is what changes. The amygdala becomes more sensitive. It flags potential danger faster. And the threat will typically be either made up, and I don't mean that as in like you are, making it up. I just mean that your brain is kind of playing tricks on you. And you can also see danger very, very, very far away. The hippocampus can mislabel present situations as similar to past threat. That's actually what happens when we get quote unquote triggered. Really, it's our mind recreating a situation that threatened us. And then the prefrontal cortex becomes less effective under stress. Now, as humans, we want to always be operating in our prefrontal cortex because this is really what separates the humans from the animals. But instead of evaluating, is this actually dangerous? Your brain will jump to, oh, this feels so familiar. Oh gosh, we got to stay alert. Like, oh gosh, pay attention, everyone, pay attention, right? And you get this like nerve-wracking, chaotic, hypervigilant sensation that will run through you. Now, this is called neuroception. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for safety or threat without your conscious awareness. This is why unconscious patterns are so incredibly hard to identify. And I always say, hey, let's heal your soul before we go to your nervous system. But if you want to know the patterns that are hindering you, that's exactly what my needs analysis diagnostic debrief does, is we really look at your psychometrics, at what could be tripping you up. But when you are living or healing from trauma, your body, your nervous system, your being is not asking, is this logically safe? It is asking, does this feel like something we've experienced before? Because fear memories are stored very different than all the other memories. And if the answer is even subtly yes, your system reacts. Again, this is why we get quote unquote triggered, which is incorrect to really say at a scientific level. Really, our brain is recreating memories that feel similar to something we've experienced before. Now, why you feel unsafe when nothing is wrong is because your body is responding to tone, energy, facial expressions, environments, and subtle cues. And they are going to remind you of something from the past, which is why your brain is going, hey, we are in danger. And it's not because the current moment is dangerous. It's because it is familiar to something that was. And you have to remember the brain does not know the difference between the past or the present or make-believe or, what's really actually happening. This is why fear memories can easily hijack us in the moment because the brain doesn't know it's a memory, right? It's just trying to keep you safe. And that's why it can feel so like jarring, in my opinion, right? So in real time, it doesn't feel like trauma. It feels like uneasiness you can't explain, tension in your body with no clear cause, overanalyzing people or situations, assuming something is wrong when it isn't, and difficulty relaxing even in calm environments. Or waiting for something bad to happen, right? Like waiting for the other shoe to drop, or feeling like you can't fully let your guard down. That's your nervous system scanning, not your environment being unsafe. It's you scanning, right? It's your nervous system taking control. Now, the psychological impact is this. If you don't understand this, it will be very easy for you to mislabel it and think, oh, I'm anxious, or I'm overreacting, or oh, something is wrong with me. But you'll end up trying to control everything around you. Like you'll kind of be an over controller of people, or covertly try to control outcomes or even the environment, right? To reduce the feelings, right? Because it's like if I can control the external, maybe the internal will start to calm down when really you need to reverse it. Because the feeling isn't coming from the present, it's coming from the pattern. So this is the deeper issue that I see a lot of people getting stuck with. You stop trusting your internal signals because your body is saying, this isn't safe. And your mind is saying, this should be safe, right? And that contradiction creates confusion, self-doubt, hypervigilance, and emotional exhaustion. This is what reinforces the pattern, though. Every time you leave a situation because it quote unquote feels off, or you overanalyze instead of staying present, or you try to eliminate the discomfort that is happening outside versus internally working at it, your brain will learn that we were right to be cautious, right? And associations is how we learn. So what happens is then the sensitivity increases. Now, I've spoken before in previous episodes that true freedom is not being in bondage to anything around you, right? It's being the person you want to be internally, regardless of the environment. So this is what actually changes. You want to do body first, then mind. You don't fix this by thinking your way out of it. And this is just specific to what we're talking about. You have to retrain your system in real time. And again, my course, Healing Trauma the Jesus Way, does go into this more into the weeds. Basically, you've got to regulate your body immediately. Before you analyze anything, you need to slow your breathing, you need to relax your shoulders and jaw, and you need to keep your body still and grounded, right? This is signaling there is no immediate threat. I also believe in telling yourself that bluntly. The second thing you want to do is anchor in the present moment. This is where you bring your system out of scanning mode. You name 3 things you can see. Notice physical sensations in your body, feel your feet on the ground, and then you're telling your body, hey, this is now. We are in the present. What you were thinking of is in the past. Then you have a reality check. Now you engage your mind. This is where you ask, what is actually happening right now? Is this a real threat or is this a familiar feeling? This is kind of where we analyze. This reactivates your prefrontal cortex. It can at least help. Then you want to stay when your instinct is to leave. And I think staying when you want to leave can be really, really difficult, but it is a critical and crucial part. In fact, fun little fact, when I was dating my husband, I told him many times that I would find myself like feeling very like freaked out around him and wanting to leave and like wanting to abort and go back to familiarity. Now, I say that because I was in the process of retraining my nervous system and really going to things that were truly safe for me versus what my body was most comfortable with, which was abusive people, to be honest. And so when I was with safe people, my body felt really uncomfortable. When I was with abusive people, my body felt really safe. And there was a few times where I would want to leave when we first started dating because I felt so unsafe because he was super safe, and that was threatening to me because of my lived experience. But I remember just telling myself, no, this is what you want. You have to stay. He is safe. He's not going to hurt you. And so you really have to have that tough-mindedness and be in control of your being, of your body, of your mind, of your soul, really operate in the spirit so that you do not fall back to old patterns. Because every time you leave when you feel unsafe, your brain learns the difference between discomfort and danger. So if you stay, not recklessly, but intentionally, when you are truly safe, you can start to get positive feedback. The next thing you want to do is build new evidence through repetition, right? Your brain changes through repetition, exposure, and reinforcement. Like think about grade school and how many times we learned addition before we advanced. It's the same thing for retraining your nervous system and your mind. So every time you stay present, every time you don't escape, and every time you choose to stay and you see that nothing bad happens, you're actually updating the pattern. But a lot of people quit because it's emotionally very uncomfortable. And somatically, there's going to be a lot of discomfort too. But that's kind of how you know you're at an opportunity where you can rewire everything. Now, this is where faith comes in. You are not meant to live in constant internal threat. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "You were not given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind." Sound mind means clarity, steadiness, not constant internal alarm. And Isaiah 26:3 says, "You are kept in perfect peace when your mind is anchored." Peace is not passive, it is practiced. If you don't retrain your nervous system, then you are going to continue to live on edge, overanalyze your life, struggle to relax when things are good, and not because your life is unsafe, but because your system is misfiring. Now, I can't speak for you, but I got tired of my nervous system controlling everything. I really wanted the freedom that the Bible talks about, and that's what I've been able to achieve. And I'd love to help you achieve the same thing. Feeling unsafe does not mean you are unsafe, especially if you've lived through trauma. It's very easy for this to get miswired. Sometimes when you feel unsafe, especially when there's trauma in your past, it often means your system is running an old pattern. And the way you change that is not by avoiding the feeling, but by regulating your body, staying present, and allowing your system to learn something new. Now, if you're ready to stop living in a constant internal false alarm, then Healing Trauma the Jesus Way is going to walk you through identifying your patterns, retraining your responses at the nervous system and soul level, and building real sustainable safety. Because safety is not just something you find, it's something you build and your system can learn. So that's going to be down below. I look forward to hearing your thoughts about this course. And in the meantime, go and create a great day. We will continue on this series, so let me know your takeaways.